Welcome back to the Nashville Predators GM mode. This is the year 5 offseason. Now, in years past, I would go ahead and look at the draft and look at everything. I have not looked at any sort of scouting all season as to what kind of position we're in the lottery because Columbus had the 11th pick. So, we are not in any of those. We're looking at this Malkin Brown, Jesse DeMarchi, Mikael Edler, Marco. I might take one of these offensive defensemen to be completely honest. So we have the 11th or 12th pick probably. I'm gonna probably gonna take one of these two guys. I don't know if we have anything on either of them. No, not the Swedish guy, and not the Scandinavian either. Well, he's not Scandinavian. He's Finland. He played in the Scandinavian league though. So, definitely thinking one of those guys. I might try to trade up into this 20s range to get a two-way forward. There's 3 of them, or this power forward right here from the DEL. So, the basic plan is to trade Austin Watson for a first-round pick. I gotta read off retirements because I skipped through them. So the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Colorado Avalanche were in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Toronto Maple Leafs won in 6 or 7 games. We'll do awards in a second too. So Duncan Keith, Patrick Sharp, Mike Richards, Miku Koivu, who were on our team, Scott Hartnell, Dan Hamhuis, Mike Ribeiro, Justin Williams, Martin Erat, Steve Ott, Mikhail Grabovski, P.A. Parento, and Henrik Lundqvist were the notable retirements in the offseason. Now there might have been more goalies. I didn't look at the goalies. I forgot, and then I closed the screen. But then I suddenly saw sad day in hockey. Henrik Lundqvist retired. So that's the only reason I even know that Henrik Lundqvist retired. Awards. So this is gonna be funny as soon as you see who won the Hart and what team he's on. So the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. They also won the President's Trophy. So this was just their year. It's the first time a Western Conference team hasn't won the Stanley Cup since the first year of this GM mode when the Rangers beat us in the Stanley Cup Finals. Clarissense Campbell was Colorado, obviously, so they made a very good run this year without us in a deep playoff run. This is the most disappointing playoff run we ever had, to be completely honest. It was more disappointing than year 2 because we had a bad year 2. So Art Ross went to Steven Stamkos, and the Hart Memorial went to Tyler Seguin, who's on the New Jersey Devils. Crazy. Norris went to Morgan Riley, so that's 2 out of the last 3 Norris winners that have been Toronto Maple Leafs. He probably had 75 plus points at least. So Lady Byng went to Patrick Kane, and the Calder went to Eric Brassard, who was that goalie who was winning a shit ton of games for them. Conn Smythe went to Jonathan Bernier, so there's that. Vezina actually went to Henrik Lundqvist. I thought that they would give it to Varlamov based on wins plus the elite stats that he had, but they gave it to Lundqvist. I thought he deserved it. However, Semyon Varlamov won the William M. Jennings. I thought they would have given it to Ramo too, but Andre Schuster won the Masterton. Selke went to Taves. Ted Lindsay Kessel. He seems to always win it. Maurice Richard was John Tavares, weirdly enough. And that's it for that. So I'm going to do a blind kind of run into the offseason. So Minnesota, no, we wouldn't trade with them. So Montreal, LA, Ottawa, Boston. LA, Ottawa, Boston. Montreal's 19, 21, 22, 23. So we have the 12th overall pick, so we'll definitely get one of those two-way forwards, or those offensive defensemen, excuse me. And I definitely want to trade Austin Watson. He has very good trade value, and he's pretty much not going to do anything on that third line. Yeah, he's got really good trade value. I guarantee we can get at least a first-round pick from him. So we'll go to Montreal, and we'll check them. So let's see, what's their first-round pick worth to them? A little bit more than we can probably match. However, if we go to LA, or we'll try Ottawa since they're opposite conference. So it's a little yeah, that's definitely something that can go through. I think we'd have to take a player back, and we probably have to give up something else as well, like a prospect of some sort. So let's take back this Dunn guy, or What's the issue with this salary cap? Okay, let's take someone back then who has actual like salary. Loft Cochran. Oh, I'm dead. Whoops. Derek Dorsett's got 2 years left. Colin Greening has a year left, but not at a good price. If we take Dorsett back, they can do that. But I don't know if I want his contract at that point. What about Stone? No. Dorsett. Gotta be Well, let's try LA first. Let's see if they can do it without all that. Mark Stone, I'm going to give it a potential boost before my next one also, because he's done really well this year. So they have even more salary cap problems, but I guarantee that they have someone who I can take that's on an expiring deal. Maybe not. Oh, I guess all their old guys are gone. I can take Drew Doughty. Yeah, not gonna happen. So let's go back to Ottawa. Or we can try Ottawa. Do Ottawa again. Take Dorsett back. We can always trade him for like a pick or something. Later on. So I'm gonna need to throw in a prospect into this though. So this also might take several tries because I've not tried it yet. Let's give them this guy. Devin. Actually, we'll give him Debrincat because he's a little older. Can they not do that now? Oh, it might be a player. He might not be worth enough, actually. May have to go up slightly more. Tyler MacArthur, maybe? No, I don't want it. Wow, Akim Nold is up to an 82? Holy fuck. Guess we don't have to re-sign, don't have to re-sign Franzen. I don't think we would anyway at this point. You could definitely give Nold some top 6 time. I don't know, we'll see how everything works out. Tyler MacArthur. Callahan seems like he has the most trade value, so let's throw him in. And we'll take Debrincat off because Debrincat is a contract. Let's try that. Alright, so they took that offer. We have 2 first-round picks now. They're both pretty much depth picks. However, I'm completely fine with that. So, both of those, no, not both of those offensive defensemen can go. We still have Edler, the SHL, and the guy from the DEL is here. So, that's good. We didn't really need... I wanted the other guy, I think it was Malkin, but now Pittsburgh has 2 Malkins. We could actually get this Neil Schofield guy. He actually looks really good. Alright, you know, I'm gonna take him, top 10 pick. He already looks really good. I probably should have checked the prospect game player stats, but you know, he was a top 10 pick. I mean, he must have done something right. And we can still get an offensive defenseman here too. We can get Morgan Gainey. I want to take, yeah, that's a pretty good thing, I think. So I'm gonna write them down so I remember to look at them. In a second here. I don't think I have a 2nd round pick. So, oh yeah, we do. Oh no, do we have 3rd? Is that a 3rd round pick we have? Oh, I want to trade Dorsett though. Just for like a 7th round pick or something. Because he's a 4th line player, I just don't have a need for him. But we do need a new 4th line center. So there's that to remember too. I'm just going to take your 7th round pick. Oh, they can't take that. Whoops. Gotta find a player or someone who can actually take that on. Man, Shane's getting 28. I feel old. I remember watching him in like his first game. So who can just take him like straight up? Can Chicago? That's not it. In Chicago. Okay, so Chicago can. We'll just give him 7th. Whatever. I don't care. I don't need this shitty player. We'll take our 3rd round pick. We'll make our 3rd round pick. And then we will go do something else. So let's take playmakers are usually fine. We already have enough. Let's take this Denmark power forward, Philip Potter, possibly. What's his measure? He's only 6 foot. And he's not really a power forward at that point. Ooh, this power forward 6'4", 204. We're gonna take him. He might only end up being 3 stars, but it's worth it. He has a big frame, and we're just gonna sim. Actually, I probably should have quick simmed right there anyway, but I feel like I'm the only one who ever trades at the draft. Like, no teams ever over there. I keep doing that. Like, no teams ever make trades besides me, and I've been trading into like the top 5 or top 10, but yeah, we had Toronto's 7th round pick. I forgot. So look at the players we just drafted. We got a lot of re-signs to do. So this is a really interesting one to pick for the kind of blind off season where I didn't do anything beforehand. So Nikita Kucherov is our most notable free agent, it looks like, RFA wise. We're gonna do our UFAs first, though. I know we got Varlamov, Colin Wilson. I'm probably not bringing back Cody Franzen. So yeah, probably not bringing back Cody Franzen. So there's that. Re-sign players. So Shea Weber is 4.5 stars now, so it looks like he might be on the back end of his career. So we got Palmenville. Back is already down to an 84. He's just going to be a third liner for us probably. Franzen, I'm just going to release. We'll come back to him. Downey, we need to re-sign. Bartley, we could probably go a little younger at that position. It's just a depth position anyway. So Wilson, Hoffman, I don't know if we're going to re-sign. Beck, I'm kind of leery on as well. Duchesne, we definitely need back. Edmondson's a big one we need back. He's gone down a little bit in overall. I think he was an 85 before. He's now down to just an 84. Kucherov's up to an 89 now. This is just season progression. It's not off-season progression. So there's that to remember too. So Morgan Gainey was actually a 4-star player. We drafted him in we drafted him 22nd. And he already has really good offensive stats. And his defense is not that far behind. A couple years in the minors, and he'll be ready to play on our team probably. And we got Schofield as well, was the other guy we drafted. I don't know where he is. Schofield ended up being 60. Oh, he only ended up being 4 stars, but he's 18, so he's a little bit more behind in his development as opposed to Gainey, who's 19. So there's that to consider as well. So I think Schofield was still a solid pick. He looks really good. The only thing that's dragging down his defense to a 1/2 star is his face-offs. They're only 71, which is not even important. That's what I think anyway. So we have that guy in the 3rd round as well. Was it this guy? No, it's not that guy. This guy, 3.5 red stars. That's pretty decent. He had a pretty good shot already. Pretty good puck skills. Defense is low, but again, it's probably just face-offs. He'll be a decent player eventually. I think he's kind of got stats that are there already, so there's stuff to work off of. So we're gonna go position by position and by overall as well. So we have Matt Duchene's got to be re-signed. He wants 6.975 for 5 years. That goes up if we go down. So I'm not going to sign him for 8 years because he hasn't been that good for us. But you know what I will do is, since it's slightly cheaper, is we'll go 6 years, which will take him through 34. And we'll get him for that. So we got to do that. It's 5.8905. Saving over $1 million on this. So this is actually less money. I knew it was going to be less money than his old deal, but I didn't know by how much. So we'll go 5.9 for 6 years. Good deal. It's pretty much the same as his old deal, which I think was 4 years, $6 million a year. As reported by his agent, obviously, there's no official numbers anymore. So Colin Wilson we need back. He's 29 now. So he wants only a 3-year deal. That's completely fine. We'll just get him on this. So if he wants 4 point, okay, I can do that. 4.155. Alright, we got a minor interruption. So Wilson, I think we just signed him. Okay, so back is going to be another 1-year deal. He only wants 1 year anyway. He's down to a 3rd liner, which is where I was going to play him anyway, kind of replace the Shaw role. And he'd still be a good penalty killer for us, but I think he's just kind of serving as a defensive forward at this point. He hasn't really done anything offensively the last couple years, so not concerned about that with him. 2.66 is pretty good. Probably should have come back to him after, but worry about everyone else after. Hoffman, we don't need to worry about yet. Kucherov is a RFA, so we're gonna not worry about him. Palmanville, I want to get back on a 1-year deal. So he only wants a 1-year deal. That's good. He's probably gonna play the third line if we don't need. Well, actually, even he's going to play the third line, and him and Konechny are going to play third line, second line, and it depends on what Konechny's progression is and what his he wants this amount, by the way. What his progression is and what role he's listed as, what position we put him in to play. So there's that. All right, defenseman, Franzen, Edmondson. Yeah, Noel's definitely ready. We'll sign Edmondson after. And then goalies, we got to get Semyon Varlamov back. There's not a question about it. Nedved's definitely not ready. I'm going to go 2 years for Semyon Varlamov. Ooh, he wants a long-ass deal. Okay. Maybe not that crazy. We'll go 3 years. It's going to cost a little bit more, but it's a lot less than 2 years. I was going to go 2 years. We'll go 3 years instead. That'll take him to 34. That'll probably be when he starts to decline. Considering he's only 4.5, he's not 5 stars. He only wants 6.5 million. We can go down to 6.45. So I'll do that. I'd say worth it. He had 1 good year with us. He's up to an 89 overall. He almost won the Vezina last year as well. But he's really just there. I was gonna do 2 years, but I mean, Nedved's definitely 2 years away from being the starter on this team. So. That's why I was going to do 2 years, but you never know. Something could happen. So we'll sim to get all those UFAs back, and then we'll look at RFAs and rookie contracts as well. So there's that. Backes could also be our 4th line center potentially, considering we lost Mike Richards to retirement in this offseason. So Varlamov came back, that's good. Duchesne came back, Pominville, Wilson, and Backes are all back, and we have $20 million approximately left. So there's a good bit to work with, and if there's a free agent we can pursue, there's also that to think about as well. So we need Kucherov back, we need Edmondson back, and after that it's just depth players. Cody Franzen. It's been a fun few years with you. You've had really good point totals for us. You've had a really good run as a Nashville Predator, winning a Stanley Cup, being in 2 Stanley Cup finals. And you've had more than 50 points each of the last 3 years. However, you're on the wrong side of 30 at this point. And despite the fact that you've been a consistent scorer for us, and we can't really replace your production right now, we'll be able to in the long term. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now. Before it turns into a sticky situation later on. However, I'm going to look at what price you're demanding first. Yeah, not going to pay that. If it was like 4, I might have considered it, but not at 5. I'm sorry. You are worth $5 million, just not to this franchise. So, thank you for your services. We will see you later. This might not be the super contention year. This might just be a middle of the road year. So we got Edmondson here, wants $4 million. Or $4.5 million. We're gonna do him second. He's important to the team, but we might just get him. We'll get him after. We got to do Kucherov first. He's definitely more important. Yeah, he wants a 5-year deal. What can we get him? 8 years. We're gonna get him for 8 years. Actually, what's not Fran? I just did. I should have coordinated all their deals together, so we can do them in the same kind of year. So all forwards. I think, did I do Forsberg and Duchesne the same number? No, Duchesne's got a slightly longer contract. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more, or 4. 4 more years of Forsberg. 6 more years of Duchesne. We'll do 8 for Kucherov. So him and Duchesne will be not the same age. Their contracts will end. We'll do 8 years for Kucherov. Because it's not that much of a price difference, to be completely honest. He's worth it, I think, too. Because we got Forsberg on that really cheap deal before he kind of capped out. And I think Kucherov's due for another big jump before he completely caps out. I think he'll be up to like a 91, probably. So we can get him at 5.88 mil for 8 years. It's a very good, very cap-friendly deal for a first-line forward. He does have only red stars, and he's about to cap off, but he's been a very good point producer for us in every year we've had him. He had 64 the first year. He had 72 the year after that, and he had 84 last year. He's been a plus 29 each year. He's one of the better defensive forwards on our team, weirdly enough, even though he's more of an offensive threat. He's been a lot better for us than we ever could have expected. I expected Tyler Johnson to be the big piece in that trade, but Kucherov has been the dark horse of that trade overall. So again, thank Tampa Bay for making that trade. I think it helped us. I think it helped out everyone, but I think it helped us out more so than them. All right, I'm gonna do Edmondson just because I have enough money to do it. We're gonna do Edmondson. He wants a lot of money. That goes up if we go long term. I was gonna sign him for a shit ton of years and then trade him. So he actually wants the least amount of money for 3 years. That's fair. We don't have any huge contracts coming up, so we can get him for just about 4 mil. It would be 3.885. So it's pretty much the same. Yeah, that's a good price. Now that I calculated it, that's a good price for a top 4, top 6 defenseman, depending on where we play him. So Chapman's signed through next year. He's gonna be a big sign next year, and then Nold's gonna be the year after that. So we got a few big contracts coming up. I think I'm gonna let Bartley walk. Yossi's a free agent next year. That's when we're gonna have to kind of assess that situation. So Bartley. Actually, I might trade Yossi. Well, because no one's ready yet. Really. Unless Sean Day gets a huge dump right before the season starts, I'm not going to trade Yossi yet. I don't know whether I'm going to sign Bartley back for now, and we could always trade him if we don't need him. He's just a depth player, and he's going to be a two-way forward. So, I should have calculated out. Whatever. We'll go one more day, get these 2 signed, and we might have enough money for a really good player if one hits free agency. But I don't think we'll go after one anyway. Can't even remember who's on our... Oh, yeah, Palmer. Who else is on our second? Colin Wilson. Okay. We could always sign a second-line player if we absolutely need one, or find the need for one, or if there's a defenseman who can kind of fill the void for a little bit. So, Hoffman's been a really good offensive player. I definitely would like him back as the depth forward for injury purposes over Yuri Sekach because he's been a very productive player the last 2 years. However, I think he's also a starting caliber player, and I don't think using him as a healthy scratch would play to his strengths very much. So I think we're gonna let Hoffman walk. I really would have wanted to retain him, but I don't see him fitting in with this team. The third line's full. And the fourth line would be a waste of his talent. He's a very good player. So, Steve Downey, we're going to get back for another couple years. He's still a very good grinder for the fourth line. He wants 1.895. That's a pretty good price. I think it's slightly higher than his last contract for 2 years. That's not bad. We're going to need to definitely get another fourth line grinder soon, but Beck will come back to. Kevin Hayes we can release. It was nice to have him as a minor league player, but he didn't really help out the team the way we thought he would, and we got center depth. So Sekach I'm going to get back as again a healthy scratch. He just wants a one-way deal, so we'll just get him back on this. We're still going to 0.85 it though, so 7905. Pretty good. That's saving a good bit of money. So 795. Because you got to factor in the fact that we're going to have these depth players up. Sissons is kind of declining. I feel like anyone really could take his spot at any given point. I might look at getting another fourth liner outside of Colton Sissons because he's been not super great the last couple years. He wants a little bit too much money too. Might just release him. He's not very good. Definitely not a very good defensive player. Only 3.5 stars. Stick tacking's good. That's about it. He's not a super physical player, which I'd like a super physical player. We might get Hoffman back. Might have to go get Hoffman back. I'm gonna tender. No, I'm gonna release him. I don't want to waste the money. We're not gonna use him. There's no point. Salamaki, we can get back as minor league player. He's not gonna really do anything for us. For Bassick, we can get back for a couple years. It's fine. Lemieux still has 4 stars. Hasn't really done anything yet with that, but doesn't really look like he's going to turn into anything either. But nice to have in the minors. Power forward. Jace Harliuk, pretty good player. Done pretty well for us lately, so we'll give him a good deal for the next 3 years. That'll bring him to when he caps out. Audette, also worthy of a contract, in my opinion. Just setting it up a little bit so that he'll actually take it. We can sign this Luke Devon guy. This is the one we kept. We'll just sign him to his entry level deal. See what he turns into. Anyone else who's 20 and like 3.5 stars or better, you can sign this guy. I don't know how many contracts we have left on the team, but doesn't look like there's anyone really good that hasn't been signed already. And we have 32 contracts. We'll have to get a little bit of we'll have to look for minor league depth kind of in this. So Cody Frains is going to be the top free agent, it looks like. Maybe Tyler Sagan re-signed. Yeah, he did re-sign. I wasn't going to go after him, even though he's like my favorite player, but still. Wasn't going to go after him. Anyway, because we have Matt Duchene, and they're kind of, I don't really want to say they're the same player, but they kind of are. They're kind of the same player. That was not what I wanted to do. So the only player we have left is Beck. It's been like 6 years, not 6 years, it's been like all 5 years with Beck on our team, and there's literally no purpose in keeping him at this point. So we'll just find a different depth forward with a big body. Paul and Chuck we're not going to use ever, so we'll just release him. Fiore will release as well. Boucher. These guys are 3 stars, so they could be decent, but I mean they're not really going to be because they're already pretty old. So there's that to think about. Is this guy? No, he was Canadian. I remember looking. So we can sign Steenbergen. Because he's 21, he can play in the minors. Anyone else? Cogliano we could sign, but he's not very good. Roning's not very good either. So we definitely need to look into free agency for some prospects. Sean Day might even be ready to crack the NHL this season. But I'm not 100% sure of that. So, oh, I didn't check goalies either. Goalies. It's 2-star guy, that's it. That's the only guy that's been signed, and we don't need to sign him, so, yeah. Again, I know these progressions for these 2 major prospects we have, Nedved and Nold, are not final, but they're a pretty good indication of where the player is going to be. For example, Nedved was a, okay, so we got this guy. Nedved was a 74 or 75 last offseason, and after he jumped up, he ended up being a 76. So I think he will be a good player. So I think Nold will be a good enough player to play in the NHL this season. So Jake Gardner is a free agent. Cody, this is the year of the defenseman, Jesus. And then after that, it's like nothing. So for the 4th line, I'm gonna UFA it. For the 4th line, we could get Devontae Smith-Pelly. Puck skills are pretty good. Physical is 4.5 stars, so that's good. Decent shot. He'd be a good 4th liner. He put up 20 points last year. We'll go after him, I think. Maybe Kyle Chipchura. I think we need a center. He's not very good at faceoffs, though. For our 4th line, we need a center and a winger. So, I'm going to get Hoffman back, I think, as well. He wants a little bit more than I would have paid him before, but I think he's very obtainable. What is Devontae Smith-Pelly's? He doesn't have great face-offs. I'm going to sign him, and I'm going to sign him for 2 years at $2 million because no one else is interested in him. So we can get him for still relatively cheap without meeting his asking price, which is a little high for 2 years. And then we need a center. Center. There's not really many good ones. Keem Anderson. No, there's not any good ones here. We have to trade. There's anyone with good face-offs, really? It's face-offs. That's in here, right? Yeah. So those good face-offs. Joe Vitale. Brooks Like has 74 84 face-offs. I don't think he's not good enough to play the fourth line. Greg Moore, Aronson. I just want someone like a decent overall who's got good face-offs, like 80 and 78, somewhere in there. It does not look like anyone's really that good. Mitch Holmberg. His defense overall is not impressive, though. He's a sniper. Raphael Lafontaine. Martin St. Cyr or Maxime St. Cyr. Alright, we'll just try to think. I don't know. So that's a big hit to Toronto, though, to lose Jake Gardiner. But I imagine they'll sign someone like maybe Tyler Myers or Michael Holmes. What's his potential? 3.5 yellow. That's not worth. Jimmy Hayes. He's solid, not super great. And there's no one like Mike Richards. Mike Richards is like the perfect player for that fourth line. What's Hoffman look like? Whoops. Only 60 face-offs. He's definitely better suited to play more of a full-time role. I think of Joaquin Anderson. He's only a depth forward, but if someone jumps up, I mean, they could always take that spot. I'm gonna try and get him for like $970, $950 for like a year. He's only a depth forward. I mean, he's there for defensive purposes, really. Oh, I didn't check any prospects either. Hold on, I gotta stop the sim. We're gonna get all the way to the 5th. So Joaquin Anderson and Devontae Smith-Pelly came to our team. I did not check prospects, so there's that. Sergei Bobrovsky's a free agent. That's ridiculous. Aiden Hill, Jonas Enroth. I'm gonna look at goalies in here. If there's any like 4 stars who are not good as Nedved. This guy's already a backup, and he's still getting better. It's crazy. I don't want anyone who's too good, who's like gonna take starts away from Nedved. So we'll just look at potential here. Matt Schmalz, we might sign. His defense is actually pretty good. It's just his face-offs are fucking awful. I don't think he's that great. I'd rather have like LeBlanc, two-way forward. Good pretty much everywhere. He's only 3.5 stars, but he's a little younger. So I'm just gonna max him out right there. Connor Graham, two-way forward as well. I don't need all these two-way forwards. Laurent Dauphin's a free agent. Might sign him. He's pretty good. Usually gets pretty good. In past GM modes, he got like super good, but still. Oh, he's a RFA. Better change that. Should have figured that out, but LeBlanc, I think we already went after. Yeah, we'll get a couple 3.5 red stars like Trent Fox. Seems like a solid pickup. Just max it out so we get him. We were running really long. I'm sorry, but I think we're doing pretty decent. So Nick Leddy went to Tampa Bay. LeBlanc came to us. Really excited to see how everyone progressed. Our third line is very different than last year, but well, I guess it's that Backus was on the team last year. He just wasn't on the third line, and Shaw was definitely. I don't think I was going to retain Shaw, even if we got to this point, and if I did, it was going to be as a fourth liner, which would be nice. He would be a nice fourth liner. but you know, I think Austin Watson was a good guy to get out. It was the right time to get rid of him too, because he just capped out. He was staying at a third line checking forward, and he wasn't putting up the points that he was capable of. That 1 year. That 1 year was ridiculous, though. To be fair, like I did not expect that out of the third line that season. Just everyone kind of. That was a weird year all around. Like we led the league in goals for, I think, that year. Like we were top 5, and it was like really weird because that has not happened since. We had the third line at like 40 points apiece. Craig Smith was like had more points than Duchesne, I think, or the same amount. It's crazy. So we're gonna get. That was a really quick sim. We got all the way to the reset. So another 52 win season that he's expecting out of us. So I'm not gonna look at anything quite yet. I'm gonna save and quit and reload before I bank on any sort of roster moves. I'm sorry, my phone's really loud. Oh, I didn't save. I gotta save before I can save and exit, right? It's a weird night. I don't know why I decided to record, to be completely honest. It was not a super smart decision. Kind of just loopy. It's also been like 35 minutes since I started. Time flies when you're recording, man. If any of you do YouTube, you know what I mean. Just like you start recording, you do like 3 or 4 episodes, you do like 3 or 4 different like things to record, and it's already like 11 o'clock. I started like playing this game at like 9:30. Recorded the last 2 episodes of this. It's crazy. I need to get up for school tomorrow. Still. Let's look at roster moves. I'm not even done recording this, and it's like 11 now. So, roster moves. All right. Really hope something happened. So Konechny is listed as a second liner, and Nold is actually listed as a top 4. That's crazy. So we might play him in the top 4. Actually, I don't think he has room in the. We don't have a room in the top 4 for him. So Tyler MacArthur is also up to a top 6. So who's up here that shouldn't be LeBlanc? What the? Oh, we don't even have enough people up to begin with. Nold, MacArthur, Sekech. Okay, that's too many at this point. Okay, so Sean Day's still a depth defenseman. So Sekech, come up. Sean Day's 80 overall. He'll be definitely ready by the time Yossi his contract is up. So there's that. Nedved is actually up to an 80 overall, but he's still listed as a minor league starter. I said before, I didn't think he'd get up that high, to be completely honest. I said before that he was definitely at least 2 years away, but yeah, he could be even closer than I thought. Thought it was gonna be a little bit more. What the? Oh. Oh, did I back out on accident? Duh, I'm stupid. So Debrincat, actually, I'm glad I held on to him. He got up to a 75 overall. It's really good. He's our third best center. I didn't expect Chris Chaddock to get this good either. He might be better than the 4th line center we have now. I can't believe Mike Richards retired, man. He would have been the perfect, like, for one more year. Joaquin Anderson, I was like, that is his name. So Kucherov actually is only an 89, which is surprising. I thought he'd get a little bit more of a jump. He's definitely done progressing, though. So we have 2 89s and a 91 on the first line. It's really good. I don't expect 36 goals out of Forsberg again this year, but I expect a lot more out of Matt Duchesne. This fucking 62, 53 point shit's getting old, especially considering he had like 90 points each season before he came here. So, is this all good? Oh, Backus is way down. What the hell happened? Ooh, he's really declining. Really quick, too. And oh, I forgot to get another depth forward. Duh. That was really stupid. Salamaki's pretty decent. He's 26. Yeah, we'll add him at the. Oh, do we have too many defensemen? Oh yeah, we have like 8 defensemen. I forgot. So send Tyler MacArthur down. He's good, but not very good. Definitely just a defensive defenseman. He's not as good as Chapman. I don't think. Well, he actually might be a little better than Chapman. Chapman's stick checking is horrendous, by the way. It's only 76. That's crazy. Might be better than Chapman, actually. We have a problem. Too many good defensemen. Not a bad problem, but still, it's a problem. No. How's Edmondson? Yeah, he's actually really good defensively. He's a good top 6 defenseman for defensive purposes. Goodbye, Chapman. We're gonna trade him, but we're not just gonna keep him in the minors. But still, so who are we gonna bring up? Is it Salamaki? Yeah. He'll be our second healthy scratch. So we got enough second liners. Our third line might be a little bad. We're gonna do this real quick. So Forsberg, Duchesne, Kucherov, fine. Tyler Johnson is the center. Colin Wilson over there, and we're gonna put Konechny up here. Backus is our winger over there. Palmanville up there. Craig Smith up here. Why is Joaquin Anderson scratched? Why would Salamaki be in over Sekatch either? That's another stupid thing. So yeah. That bottom 6 is really weak. I did not think those two would decline by that much, but whatever. Not a whole lot I can do about it. Who do we take off the power play? Thinking Colin Wilson shouldn't be on the power play. Because we need somewhere for Craig Smith to play, I think. So I want to switch those two. Why is Palmanville on the power play? We're Konechny with these two. Who does that take out exactly? I guess it doesn't really take out. That is our top 6. We'll put those. We'll try that. It's worked the last few years. We're putting Nold on the top line power play. Give him something to help him progress. Yeah, that transition was kind of seamless between him and Franz. And I don't think his offense is quite as good yet, but it'll get there. And his shot will probably be even better than Franzen's was. His passing might not end up as good, but his shot's going to get him a lot of points, I think. Defensive pairings, we got Nold and Jones, Yossi and Weber, that's fine. So Nold will be ready to take over top 2 line probably by next year. Penalty kill, I don't want Yossi, I want Seth Jones and Shea Weber together, that's how it's been. And then I wanted MacArthur with Edmondson. So penalty kill, I'm just going to do best defensive awareness, to be completely fair. It's kind of getting ridiculous at this point, like the decline. So Tyler Johnson, Philip Forsberg. I don't want Matt Duchesne. Should we give Matt Duchesne on there? That lineup's good enough. Matt Duchesne's a good defensive player, so like that's pretty much what he's been the last. He's been like a really good defensive player for us. I am gonna put Colin Wilson here instead of Duchesne though for the 4-on-3, but I don't really think it matters all that much. I'm just gonna fix it just in case. MacArthur, 4-on-4 lines, that's fine. No, I'm just gonna switch those two actually. I like to keep Kucherov and Johnson together as much as possible to commemorate that trade. And Colin Wilson will go with Travis Konechny, who's finally making it in. So a big year for us. Our prospects are starting to come up and do stuff for us. So that's good. That's very good. I don't really have anything else to say. So yeah. So that's good as far as lines go. We should probably do minors. I don't know who's even in the minors at this point. I know that guy who never gets good. Kurdell. Yeah, Kurdell's still 79. Colello's getting pretty good. Harley's up to a 77. So we'll get Debrincat in there finally. I thought he was a power forward. Is he really a playmaker? His player type might have switched. I could have swore he was a power forward. Might be. Nah, probably fucking thinking of stuff. Anyone scratched who should be playing? Ooh, I gotta write down to trade Chapman. So I'll do that in in the meantime. Chapman was nice for us, but just our same problem we've had the entire series, where our defensive core is too good. It's not a bad problem, but it's a problem nonetheless that we've had. Bad defensive, or defensive core being too bad, good. So Sean Day's got a ridiculous skating. Holy. He could probably actually play this year, but we'll keep him in the minors for another year of seasoning. Especially since his puck skills aren't that great. His passing needs to get up a little bit. His shot's really good. It looks like he's more of the the Seth Jones defensive-sided defensive two-way defenseman who's just going to put up a good amount of points. They're going to be probably playing together either way, but still. That means by then we'll have four. Our top four will be full of 4.5-star players and former. Well, I think Seth Jones will cap out here soon, but he'll be a former 4.5-star player. He actually did a lot better than he did when I had him in Washington. He only got up to 85, and he never put up 40 points for us at all. And he had like 34, I think, once. Because I still played it after I stopped posting it, but definitely a lot more than I expected out of him by this point. So. Seth Jones, or not Seth Jones, Shea Weber actually I think dropped. Wasn't he in 93? Yeah, he might be starting to decline. He's still signed forever though. What declined exactly? Maybe his senses? No, his senses were. I think his senses were always 4.5 stars. His puck skills might be a little bit down. I think his passing was like 92. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking. I guess I'm just delusional tonight. I think he went down one overall. I'm not 100% sure. He was he 92? Oh, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna stop recording. So thanks for watching, everyone. Next episode will be the start of year 6. So stay tuned.